What's going on, everyone? So, Japan, y'all gonna be glad to notice this because this is the land Thomas Lockley's from. So, we got two awesome British gentlemen here, and as you take a look at this over here, it says Assassin's Creed is in trouble with Japan 11 hours ago. These guys have 421K subscribers, so a lot of people in Britain are going to be seeing this now, and Ubisoft's going to get exposed more along with other people. So let's tune in. And like I said, I'm giving you guys a lot of real diversity here from all types of cultures. So let's go to the British world and let's take a look at what these two gentlemen here have to say. And we're going to react to this. This is going to be a good one.
Assassin's Creed is in big trouble with Japan.
Who saw this coming?
Nobody,
oh, wait, literally everyone.
Nobody thought that this would be a thing a few years ago. I know I've already covered this in some detail, but there's been some development since then. So go back and watch the original video. Suffice to say, they put a black man as the protagonist in the new Assassin's Creed game, which isn't out yet. Said he's historically accurate. He was an actual black samurai. Trust us, bro. We've got a historian. If you look into the details of what's actually written about this man, historically, Yasuke, the actual documents that you can use to learn about him maybe constitute a single page.
Mm-hmm.
All of it wildly ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat, that's good to see that. And I know y'all like saying this in Japan because, like I said, the message is getting spread. You know, good things are happening so people can, you know, have their eyes opened. And I read a comment down here by an African, and look at what she said. As an African, I'm embarrassed by this. Why can't we be proud of our own and actually appreciate what is actually ours and good? Why are we trying to claim what belongs to others? And you see, that's the right mentality to have because she's like, why are you using us for the wrong means in the wrong manner? Why can't we be used in light in a good manner? The first time you have to use us, you're using us in the wrong manner. Now let's continue.
Also, there's the sort of framing of, in the game, your character is basically unstoppable if you can play the game well enough. And so the framing of, well, this black guy is so much better at violence than all of these Japanese people. My goodness. Why would Ubisoft say such a thing?
Also, after the recent...
That's a very good comment there because it's like, do you know how violent that period was in Japan? And that's not to paint that in a negative connotation. No, it's like, that was real hard, prideful, badass warriorship there, where it was so intense that you're going to die. And if not, I might even kill myself because it's so embarrassing. Like, it was very intense. That, you know, like if you look at the samurai history and the samurai lore and you see how intense those guys were, you watch that warrior spirit, it's amazing. And then you see like they dedicate their entire life to doing that. This guy shows up, does not have that spirit because he's not organically born there, and historically it's not accurate. That's way off. Because you said you was going to display this historical accuracy, and then you have him wielding two different weapons as if like he grew up, dedicated his whole life to doing that when he was out there for 15 months with Nobunaga. Some say 12. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And he's willing, like he's a master, like he can just run around and just smash through everything, and then having people bow to him. Like it's like, what are you doing here? Like, how more Marxist can you get in the wrong manner? So yeah, good comment.
Incidents over the past few years in states like California, for instance. Now you get the Californian street simulator of playing as a black man enacting random violence on Japanese people.
That's so dark. I shouldn't laugh. But
interesting move, Ubisoft. Let's see how it plays out. So, got to give credit to It's a Gundam. His recent video on all of the drama was a great resource for pointing me in the right direction for a lot of this. I want to highlight as well that when it comes to why this is being done, obviously it's an attempt to introduce the kind of historical revisionism that we're experiencing in the West into Japan. And it does seem to be fooling people already because for some reason, African Twitter seems to be uniquely easy to fool.
You mean they're gullible people?
I don't know what you're talking about. This is an actual photograph taken in maybe the mid-17th century.
Mm-hmm.
Actual photograph.
Yes, because,
from African Hub, Black Samurai.
And by the way, he's not trying to downplay Africans. They're not either. They're kind of like being humorous with banter, basically saying that this is how Ubisoft is displaying you guys. And I'm pretty sure y'all know that. So if somebody took that the wrong way, that's not what he meant. He's basically just saying you're the target audience to be used to insult Japan and to shield them and defend lies, schemes, and brainwashing. They look at you as somebody to do that. Definitely like an African American or Black American, because there's no such thing as an African American. I don't believe in that crap. And that's why they target y'all and put the hip hop beats in there. It was purposely done while using two distinct aspects of one, the Black American who had nothing to do with this, and an East African with African American influence all over it to insult Japan, and that you would eat it all up and defend them. And a lot of you did. And the best thing to do about that is to self-correct yourself. And for you, those who didn't, good job. I'm proud of y'all. But like I said, there's a way to deal with this. If you make mistakes, remember, correct yourself and get right and get in line and do the right thing here. Because that's the only plausible, reasonable, intelligent way to handle it. And if you insulted Japan, go apologize to them. A lot of you who did, because you're wrong.
Japan was just very technologically advanced, you see.
Obviously, because of all of the Black Samurai.
It was the cultural enrichment that actually allowed them to go through the industrial period and get photography before everyone else.
And here's another real photograph that I found.
As you see, they're giving credit to Japan over here. That's why I tell you guys, I'm going to show you over and over again where you can find a lot of people that have Caucasian skin and they're not with that. That's why we can't get polarized and think it has something to do with his skin color. No, it doesn't. It has something to do with somebody's spirit, somebody's personality, their morals. You know what I mean? Do they have integrity, honor? Do they have a sense of decency? Some of these people just do not. So these guys are awesome.
It's not...
It's Emperor Nasheed to you. Imperial Emperor Nasheed here is fantastic. Man. This is a joke, but this is what a certain percentage of the American black population will unironically believe. I can guarantee it.
They're going to be showing us photos of we was pharaohs. Look, we've got photographic evidence.
We were samurais and shit. Yeah.
I have to say,
and
right,
of course,
though.
Reddit has decided
right.
that if you want to talk about Assassin's Creed and the actual historical accuracy of all of this that's going on, because again, Yasuke is being presented by the game. He's being presented as a historical figure who actually was the original Black Samurai. I don't know why they always say original, because are there any these days?
There have been so many copycats.
Oh, of course.
All those Black Samurais, you know.
Yeah. They've said, there is no debate. Yasuke was a samurai. Just imagine the crying liberal soy jack. He was!
Oh, that's fucking great, man. I love these guys. They see right through it and they know it's all bullshit. Oh, that was great. That was great.
He was a samurai. If you disagree, you can do that somewhere else. So
that's definitive proof that they must have all the evidence, that they're just dismissing.
What you do is, if you're 100% confident and honest in your judgments, you ban all dissent from them. That's what normally happens, right? So
right.
Interestingly, if you read through this, the kind of argument they use is the same argument that we'll be seeing from Ubisoft when they're addressing the controversy, where they basically say, it's not supposed to be that accurate, it's supposed to inspire you to do your own research, which is obvious BS, because they know 99% of people who are going to play a game that's supposedly historical fiction are going to be too lazy to do their own research, and what they will instead do is take the game at face value and assume that they're being given an accurate picture of history. This is what Hollywood has banked on for decades at this point.
That's why that Japanese historian that came on and did that, he knew what he was doing, he got paid. He's owned by BlackRock. Do you guys know who BlackRock is? Please do your research. Please. And other companies that he's with. And you got people that, like I said, they're not targeting them. They're not targeting me. They're not targeting Japan. No, they're targeting exactly what we've all been talking about. A certain type of people that live in America and those that are kind of influenced by that in Africa. That's literally what they're doing. We're not trying to say this to downplay Black Americans or African Americans. No, we're trying to tell you how they view you and why they targeted you, and why they used Yasuke and the way they used them. See, we're not the one doing wrong here. We're the one calling out the wrong and exposing it. So if you get mad at us, you're just being dumb and ignorant. You need to get mad at them, who's trying to make you feel that way and take your damn money and get you to support it and make fun of you and laugh at you, because that's exactly what they're doing.
So obviously, we know the playbook. Interestingly enough, this knowledge, the fact that it's misrepresenting Japanese history, has meant that they might get in trouble with the Japanese government. So the Japanese government is now looking into Assassin's Creed for an alternation of Japanese history. So what this article from that Park Place says, reading into it, is one, there's a petition in Japan which has got over 81,000 signatures already to just not release the game in Japan, completely ban it from being released there. And the Japanese government is looking to potentially, once it's been released, take it before the Diet, which I believe is the legislative body similar to Parliament and ours, and launch an investigation, one, into the accuracy of Yasuke as a historical figure, and two, whatever legislation they can put forward about the fact that it's misrepresenting Japanese history to an enormous audience, because of course Assassin's Creed has a huge audience. Now, I would say that this sort of thing should have already been done, because
exactly, that's what my recent video is about. And like you said, if y'all didn't know, the Assassin's Creed series has been alive for 17 years now. I mean, it's at like 160 million sales damn near. It'll reach over 200 million over time at the rate that they're going to keep releasing them. Or it'll get somewhere close to that. But it's a big series, you know. It's not like this is a small thing. No, this is kind of like you trying to do something worldwide. I mean, that video has over 10 million when they first released. And you're putting that in that manner in front of those many people openly. They're not embarrassed, kind of like the, you know, French Olympics. Just openly do it in front of you and then try to come with this fake apology. These are not real apologies, like I said. You do that by showing merit and doing the right thing and getting right to it and showing it through your actions. Then coming in front of me and saying, I apologize. Look at what I did. Look how I fixed everything. You're not doing that.
Because one of the more recent Assassin's Creed games was Viking or Valhalla, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I beat it.
Where it's mainly set, I believe, in Western Norway and northeastern England. And of course, it's set in what, the 9th or 10th century?
It'd probably be the 8th.
No, 8th.
Yeah, maybe even the 8th century.
I can't remember. I haven't
and
played
there's
the
black
game.
people.
Are there really?
Yes, of course there are.
They were always here.
There's black Vikings. So honestly, we should have done something like this as well for misrepresenting our history.
Why would Ubisoft insert a people known for murdering and stealing and raping?
Maybe they... Oh, what, the Vikings were rapists? Don't worry, I got you, bro. Maybe that's what was going on. Maybe the French just, whoopsie daisy. Honest
they're just
mistake.
really, really far right. That's what Ubisoft are.
I should have known. But no, honestly, the British Parliament should have done this as well. Any kind of mass media like this, which is clearly targeted as a way of warping people's understanding of history in a way that is negative towards them, should get this kind of treatment, as far as I'm concerned.
See things.
But you see, that's what we're looking at this about, because that's what people didn't understand. They tried to make it seem like it was just fictional about a video game, and I'm like, see, you're small-minded. You don't understand it. You're not looking at this and understanding how this has been going on. This Marxist colonialism, this imperial invasion, these evil acts. Like, people are just not understanding how far this shit really goes if you allow it. Everything about it is destructive and chaotic and just wrong on so many manners. And you have to know how to deal with it. You need the right, intelligent, bright minds. And people with, with a bit of banter and humor. You just need a mix of all of that. These guys are doing a great job with that. One of the best videos I've seen, honestly.
Things that, Black Henry VIII or, Black Anne Boleyn or Bridgerton. Just anything that portrays British history and it inserts people that didn't belong at the time. Ban.
If only some of those weren't already state-funded. Again, Ubisoft made a statement about this where they make all the excuses that you can expect. It's we've wanted to do feudal Japan for so long, ignoring 2016 where we said that would be boring. This is a completely different team at this point, let's be honest. Yeah. We're not supposed to be factually representing history or historical characters. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about historical settings we get inspired by. I've already explained how that argument is obvious guff.
There are only 1% of samurai.
We already did that.
What percent? A number of assassinations.
52% of assassinations, yes.
Let's go with that.
And they even make a stunning admission here. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as backdrop. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. So okay, so you admit he's not. He's not. It's conjecture. It's complete.
See, this is what you call having high deductive skills. And even then, you can have solid to good deductive skills. They're not going to tell you that he's not because they look so bad from a PR statement. But everyone that is intelligent, like I had this one guy come in there, he's like, everyone with a brain knows that he wasn't. That's pretty damn obvious that was just a distraction and a culprit. And of course, we know that. And all that they're talking about was based off of one document. And I say this again in my videos because some people may have not watched them. There were 61 documents, guys, in the world. 60 factual historical documents that were actually recorded in Japanese history are in Japan. There was one that was written by the Jesuits of Rome. This is the one that they're going based off of. They did not include Japanese history for a reason because the Japanese would have took them to those 60 documents. So they took a 1% document that was based off of theory that was not factual, and they multiplied it and highlighted it and magnified it in the media and made the story of Yasuke based off of that. Because those other 60 documents in Japan, he does not exist at all as a samurai, nor did he fight with Nobunaga or do any of that. He was just a retainer. He was just a little, like a pet. Somebody said, oh, well, there's a colored person that never listened to him. Let me just grab him. You know, he has the physique and everything. He can just run around and be a pet or whatever. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like the real reality, but he was not his to own. The Jesuits still owned him. That's how he got to Japan. You really think he just figured out, oh, yeah, let me just go to Japan one day? See what I mean? Use your intelligence. Use your brain. No, they brought him there for a missionary reason. See, there were missionaries of Rome. They're the ones that indoctrinate and colonize, and they wanted to see what they can do in Japan. They weren't just sitting around while he was over there with him. No, they were running around seeing what they can do. That's why they wrote those documents, so they can control history. That's where all that came from.
Complete BS. There was a community note on this, which has since been deleted because the community notes people sadly seem to be in a bit of a tug of war between the leftist factions and all other factions, but it originally said this. Although it states that the games in the Assassin's Creed series are not made with the purpose of recreating historical facts or historical figures, in an interview, the development staff said historical accuracy has been confirmed. It has all the information we need to reconstruct what Japan was like in the 16th century, black on Japanese violence and all. It's well described, conduct thorough research and compare the results with experts. Historical games, historical fidelity maintained. Cameras in the way.
That's one of the perks of these games as well, is that, you know, when I went to Venice after playing Assassin's Creed 2, I knew my way around because of the recreation. That aspect of it is really cool, and it's a shame that these games are lame and gay.
You see? Great comment. That's what I literally just recently did. If you guys haven't seen it too, I just did a recent playthrough. Let me go to my channel real quick and show y'all of Assassin's Creed 2. Actually, and all that. On my live right here, and I'm on Brotherhood right now. I took a break, but yeah, I did Assassin's Creed 2 just to show people that it was historically accurate. It's great the way they did that. The Ezio trilogy, absolutely phenomenal.
And
yeah,
we'll never buy them. Yeah.
But it carries on with some more excerpts from another interview. It faithfully depicts real historical figures and events of the time. Therefore, this message contradicts previous statements made by the development staff. Pretty damning, if you ask me. No wonder rabid, insane.
So all of you that were saying fiction, all that, do you see that? Historical accuracy? Do I need to highlight that for the mouse on you? All of them are. But I don't know about this because you didn't work with Japan.
Hateful leftists wanted it taken down.
Historical accuracy.
And the mainstream media response has been starting to gain some steam, where they've got their handy book of responses to this, actively calling Japanese people racist for not wanting their history misrepresented.
How dare you not want to be blackwashed?
Yeah, and they say some of the games...
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you got some of this unintelligent, barbaric mindsets where it's like, please keep showing me how stupid you are. Because you don't have anything else to say. You just say empty, soulless statements while providing me anything historically accurate, anything intelligent. That's all you do. You make the racist, and that's it. Bigot. What else do you have to say? Show me something. Show me some factual evidence of what you're talking about. And after understanding what all this really is about, and then when you understand it the way we understand it, and you still say that, then you really just show me how dumb you are. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Most vocal critics claim Shadows is a part of this
they're
hidden
still doing
agenda
it.
because its protagonist, a black man named Yasuke, was never a samurai in real life. Again, from the information that we have available, it's possible, but very unlikely. More likely, he was basically a slave who was traded to Oda Nobunagi. I think that's
Nobunaga.
his... Nobunaga, yes. Thank you very much.
Nobunaga wasn't just finna come up to the missionaries of Rome and say, I want to just grab you. Come on with me. You think you finna do that to the Jesuits of Rome? Ding, 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 ding. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
For the correction there, and was kept as a retainer for a time until Nobunaga was killed in a coup against him, at which point he was given back to the Portuguese Jesuits. That's basically all we know about him. And that he was probably a slave from Mozambique. So he was basically a slave who was traded between the Jesuits and Oda, and then given back after Oda died.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the original Black Samurai! This guy's so cool! They're grasping at straws here, honestly. But this article says the only problem...
And he's not making fun of Yasuke, if you guys have the intelligence to understand their banter. They're making fun of the shit that Ubisoft is doing. Literally. It's great.
He actually was the original Black Samurai, according to plenty of historians, including Japan's very own Yu Hirayami. Defending its portrayal of Yasuke, Ubisoft states the character's historical ambiguity offered an opportunity to blend fact and fiction, to lie to you. It also maintains that Shadows is primarily designed as entertainment, yada, 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 all of the excuses that we see. So that's BS. But who's this Japanese guy? What's his name again? Yu Hirayami. Well, he's a globalist shill. Who'd have expected that one?
Once again, I know y'all loving this, Japan. They seen it instantly. Everybody knows this, that is intelligent, that does their research. Which, like I said, you got people that are stupid, they're going to fall for this. I tried to tell people, this guy is a fucking communist shill. He's a schemer. He just wants, he does it for reputation and for fame. And to line his pockets. As we were going to talk about from a British statement. He wants to line his pockets. And he put on a little facade in a show, and then he disappeared and flooded all of Twitter with that and made a ton of money off of that. Then he had to come out with that other guy and say, we didn't really mean that. Like, of course, because he knew when he put that magic on top of people's face by telling them that, because that is kind of like a spell. You making people act a certain way. You coming from a face of Japan, but he don't care about Japan like that. He betrayed them. To me, if I was a Japanese, I'd tell this guy, fuck you, because you just betrayed all of us by doing that for a publicity stunt and to line your pockets. And to sit there and puppet the African or the Black American and insult the Africans and insult your own country, because that's exactly what he was doing. And he knew what he was doing. It wasn't an accident. I got no respect for him.
I never would have guessed. Yeah, well
so he
obviously he's going to say that.
Partnered with a company called Pony Canyon, a music and entertainment company, to promote Japanese culture through entertainment, and also a PR media site trying to globalize along the lines of the West. 2024 is Pony Canyon's first year of globalization, has met with US music industry members and US press to help with the expansion of their newly established North American branch, which seems to be set in California. Big surprise, big surprise. I wanted to make sure that this was true and it wasn't a bunch of doctored photoshopped images on Twitter, so I went to the Pony Canyon website, and
Smart man.
He's real.
Here he is. He's real. His association and promotion by them is real, so we can pretty clearly assume that his agenda is going to be one of a new global Japan, which I'm sure will be just as stable and wonderful as global Britain that we live in right now. But the big controversy is surrounding a man called Thomas Lockley, who is acknowledged to be the first man to conduct any real large-scale archival research into who Yasuke was and write books on him. He wrote a book called African Samurai, the true story of Yasuke, which is, again, the actual archival evidence we have for his existence maybe takes up 4 or 5 paragraphs on a single page. He wrote a hundreds of pages long book about the guy.
Was it fan fiction by any chance?
Might as well have been. How did he manage to do this? So it says in this article for Bounding into Comics, English-born scholar currently employed as an associate law professor at Japan's Nihon University, Lockley is perhaps best known as the author of the 29-book African Samurai, The True Story of Yasuke, a legendary black warrior in feudal Japan wherein he puts forth the claim based on his own informed, research-based assumptions that the historical Yasuke was not a mere retainer to Oda Nobunaga, but a full-blown samurai in his own right. So he made it up.
Yes.
He made it up.
Mm-hmm.
On May 27th, he featured as the subject matter expert on the Yasuke episode, first African Samurai episode.
You just gotta love when you run into people where it's like they see it instantly and get it. You ain't gotta sit there and fight and argue with them. They're not dumb and easily brainwashed. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh, we see it. You know what I mean? It's right there. You know what I mean? I love this. I want to run into more people like this.
Episode of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed-centric new history podcast, Echoes of History. So he is associated directly with Ubisoft and has at the very least consulted with them. Despite having been interviewed by the dev team regarding the game's historical context, or at least his interpretation of it, he is now attempting to claim that he had nothing to do with the game. I had nothing to do with it. In an interview, he was pressed for his thoughts on the backlash, and he said that I don't know whether the game Assassin's Creed should have him as the main character, or if it should have been somebody else as the main character. Quite frankly, I don't care. I have nothing to do with it. Don't attack Yasuke. Asked by the person who was interviewing him whether he got any royalties, he said, no. But my book's starting to sell well again, which is nice. I mean, come on. So he does have an incentive to make sure that Yasuke gets out there for his book sales. And there is a big problem with all of this, again, because where did he get this information from? Well, as I've already said, he made it up. So this is a big article here, talking about how Thomas Lockley, for a long time, had been editing the Wikipedia page even before his articles and book had been written on it, using his own unpublished research as sources for the claims that he was making in the Wikipedia page.
Source myself.
So they say here, he was going under the name Toterim, who is said to be Thomas Lockley himself. If you go on the account name Toterim, he actually says, Thomas Lockley a faculty member at Nihon University College of Law. His interests are primarily Japanese history related. He also seems to have named that Wikipedia account after the fact that he lived in Totori for a while, for 2 years, so that all adds up there. And he says, as well, in 2015, he added the 2016 upcoming papers by Lockley as a reference on Wikipedia. His other Facebook account name is Totori Tom. Sorry. The Wayback Machine records prove that he used to use the Facebook account under that name. Most of the cited references that were on the Wikipedia page of Yasuke, which was basically just like a single paragraph before he started doing it, were cited references as his yet to be published papers, with a lot of phrases like "it's also possible," "could conceivably," "may," which might suggest all conjecture, all assumptions. While suggesting possibilities is acceptable, the following are clear errors according to other editors who went through the page and went, this is all bollocks, you're lying about this. Misinterpretation of height as 6 shaku to sun, 6 foot 2 inch. Fabrication of the quote, the name was Yasuke was bestowed upon him by Nobunaga himself, a deep honor in the Japan of the day, from Lettera Diary. So it seems that the idea that Nobunaga himself gave Yasuke his name is bollocks. It's a lie.
Good information right there. And that's not a name you wanted to have back then. Look into that too, y'all.
Nonsensical explanation that it's unlikely that Yasuke would have been able to communicate in classical Chinese, the oriental lingua franca of the time. So this idea that he could speak Chinese, rubbish. Stating Yasuke was granted the samurai rank, which came with considerable stipend.
Man.
Again, rubbish. Distortion of facts, claiming Yasuke fought alongside the Nobutada forces for a long time, but when all his comrades had died, he surrendered his sword to Akechi's men. Yasuke's page on Britannica was also recently, I believe on the 24th of July, overwritten by somebody claiming to be Thomas Lockley. So he does seem to be trying to control the flow of information regarding Yasuke to all fit his assumptions.
This is quite the grift that you just invent a profile about someone who was nobody really and write a book about them and then change history around it to sell more books.
It's quite impressive, but outside of that, why is it that he would do this? Well, interestingly enough, he's conducted a number of interviews with the Refugee Support Association.
Here we go.
Now,
Oh boy. So y'all are seeing this. This is great because they're kind of doing like an all-star coverage highlight over in Britain for people to understand, and other people are going to watch that. And the reason why I say all-star is because they're doing all the things people have accumulated and covered over the last month and a half, all in one video. And it's great to see that, and it's doing very well. It's heading towards 50,000 views for 11 hours. I mean, these guys got 421K subs, and it's going to get bigger and bigger than that. And I just love seeing the right message being spread. This is great.
Now, from the clips that I've seen, it seems that his interest in this is because of the fact that he had a set of grandparents who were refugees from Nazi Germany in the 1930s because they were Jewish. So that seems to have spurred his interest in speaking about refugee support and promoting refugee support. He said in an interview, "When I first published my research on Yasuke online, there was a lot of response from people who were drawn to his life. Although Yasuke was not a free man but servant to a missionary, his story is filled with elements that remind us that even forcibly displaced people have their own stories." So it's an attempt to put Homo Globo narratives into Japanese history. Don't worry, you've always been a nation of immigrants. You've always been a nation that's opened arms to remarkable and exceptional refugees. So it's another pro-refugee narrative, this time being put in a Japanese context for Japanese history. And we need to absolutely say no to these kinds of narratives being placed into your history, especially because Japan, it doesn't go well. It really does not go well for you. Speaking from global Britain, do not become global Japan. And Thomas Lockley, screw you.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're doing, you can follow our series Lads Hour, where we have a lot of fun. This is where we have a laugh, a bit of a joke, and have fun. A bit of an antidote to our regular depressing news coverage. And if you want to see what else we're doing, you can follow us on Twitter, where we share links to everything we put out, so you don't...
Great video, lads, mateys. I loved it. But there y'all have it. Hopefully the whole world loved this and y'all enjoyed that humorous banter and just seeing it spread in a right manner in different regions. And, you know, that's why I'm touching down on every culture so that y'all can see that. And I know y'all in Japan are loving this and are glad to see this happen. All in all, like, subscribe, guys, who like this type of content. The more you support and, you know, subscribe, the better we can get these messages out and, you know, having this world be full of more truth sharers rather than garbage and falsehood. All right, y'all, get this out as much as possible. Peace out. Have a great day, great night, wherever you're at, or great morning in Japan. Later, y'all.